Brothers and sisters, I have the Premier on my immediate right standing, and I want to thank Brother Elmer Warren for providing us with a system so we can get a message to you. Thank you on such short notice. Now, as was reported to you earlier, we had met with the Premier and the Minister of Finance, and we said to them that the public service employees had asked us to come and present our position on the letter that was sent to myself on Friday, and that we were giving them to 2 o'clock to get back to us on rescinding the decision about furlough days. We came down and reported that to you, and we were called back a few moments ago by the Premier and the Minister of Finance, and they've come up with a solution for now, and I'm saying, describing it like a solution for now in respect to the impasse that we find ourselves in, where the government is looking to get the $67 million in savings, and we are some $20-something million short in looking and getting their savings. So what they are suggesting is that the working group that was working together over the past 6 weeks or so, just before the 17th, around the 17th of December, is that group is going to go back this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and they're going to meet until we get it done. So that means we're going to go in at 3, we may come out at 5, we may come out at midnight tonight. But the mere fact is we're going to sit down and see if we can find this additional $20 million in savings. So we think that's a fair, suggestion, because we do, listen up please, we do understand and appreciate that this is a very delicate matter for yourselves. It's also a very delicate matter for the government. We certainly believe that there are additional savings that are on the table. We made it clear to the Premier and the Minister of Finance that everything has to be on the table. Unless everything is on the table, it doesn't make sense sitting down and having that conversation. Because if our hands are tied on this, our hands are tied on that, not enough, the final decision, whatever we come up with, is still for the Minister and his cabinet colleagues to say, well, yes, we can do this, or no, we can't do that. So we're not trying to take anything away from them as it relates to our power as the government. But certainly we want to make sure that if we're going to have this conversation, it's not an exercise in futility where we're going to the table recognizing that this is off the table, that's off the table. Everything is on the table, so we're going to sit down and have that conversation. The last thing that is very concerning to us is the issue of the furlough date, that the Premier is saying that that is going to remain on the table. Listen. Listen. We hear you loud and clear, and I'm glad you came here, sir. So here's heard it. No furlough day. Listen up, listen. We do, listen up please. We understand that we have a position. We understand that the government has a position. And in the end, we have to make a collective decision. So if we're unable to come up with, let's say, the full $20 million in savings, and we come up with 10, or we come up with 12, then maybe the issue of furlough day, from our point of view, if we're not that far apart, the issue of furlough day is going to be going. We are concerned about, it appears, as I said to you earlier, that whatever savings is the government is looking for it from all the government employees. And we are extremely concerned about that. But listen up, we certainly believe that if we can get back to the table at 3, the TUC upstairs agreed that if we can get to the table at 3, we can certainly look at finding those additional savings. And if we can't find them, then in the end we'll report back to the government, we can find them. But we believe there are some things that could be done, recognizing that, we came here today in good faith, based on the letter that was sent to us on Friday, and a decision was made. We've now presented that position to the government. So basically all we want to do now is go back to the table at 3 o'clock, And we're not talking about tomorrow. We're not talking about the next day. We're giving ourselves the better part of the evening to come up with a resolution. And if you can't come up with a resolution on behalf of the country, then we'll tell the Premier we couldn't do it, and now the ball is in their court. Whilst we understand everyone's frustration about where this money went, where that money went, and those sort of things, and those things should be answered. They should be answered. Not for me to answer. I'm not. Yeah. So. Question.
Because Brother Jason had talked about finding 87 million at one point, I would think it's going to be a very simple equation for you to find 20 million. Because you're from 87 before.
Okay, the question was, listen up please. The question was from the media, when the TUC presented this, when we were having the meetings of working group, the number that the TUC came up with is cost savings between $65 to $80 million. And whether or not, in those numbers, can we relook at them and find the cost savings that the government's looking for? Certainly, that's going to be our approach, to relook at the numbers that we put on the table to make sure that, they are there or not there. We certainly want to make sure. That's why we asked the question whether everything was back on the table. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the President has encapsulated everything that went on this morning. Thank you for coming out. And I want to thank the BTUC for the work they've done over the past couple of months to try to find the savings that are required. Let's be very clear again. We face a very difficult position. We can't keep going on spending more money than we're actually earning. Tough decisions have to be made. Tough decisions have to be made. The BTUC came today. We had a discussion upstairs, and we've decided to continue to meet on this. A budget has to be done, and everything has to be on the table. I take the good faith the BTUC came in, and we'll continue to work with them and do the best that we can to find the correct solutions. It's in the interest of future generations that we do it, and if we keep kicking the can down the road, it's not going to work. The BTUC has given me the good faith that they will negotiate, and in the meantime, everyone will go back and do the work that they're expected to do with the services they have to do, and we'll get around the table at 3 o'clock this afternoon. As soon as we get reports, we'll give the reports to you. Thank you.
Mr. Premier, the government indicated in its letter to the BTUC that if the furlough days are not accepted, some government services are going to have to be shut down and workers are going to have to be sent home. You think that was too much of a harsh approach to take in retrospect?
Mr. Burrito, everything has to be on the table at this point because we have to find solutions.
You're not backing down from that position, are you?